All right, guys, we got one from Pump Report. Go follow.
California's diesel supply sits at 25 days. The national average runs 35 to 40 days. When hurricanes threaten the Gulf Coast, that buffer matters. When refineries go down for maintenance, those extra days save the supply chain. California has no cushion anymore. The shortage started showing up in trucking company boardrooms 18 months ago. Fleet managers watching their fuel costs saw something disturbing beyond the price increases. Their regular suppliers started limiting purchases. Some truck stops began running dry on Tuesday afternoon, not getting resupplied until Thursday morning. The sporadic shortages that used to happen once a quarter now happen every week somewhere in California. Brian Strait runs a 30-truck operation out of Fontana, moving containers from the ports to warehouses across Southern California. His diesel costs jumped from $800,000 annually to $1.4 million. But the price increase is not what keeps him awake at night. He says he gets drivers calling him at 2 in the morning because the pilot in Bakersfield is out of diesel. They are sitting there with a load of fresh produce that needs to get to Sacramento by 6 a.m. Strait moved half his fleet to Nevada last month. The other half will follow in January. The numbers tell the story clearly. According to the Energy Information Administration, California's distillate inventories, which include diesel fuel and heating oil, dropped to their lowest levels since records began in 1990. The state holds 9.2 million barrels in storage. Sounds like a lot until you realize California burns through 370,000 barrels every single day. Do the math. 25 days if nothing goes wrong. Phillips 66 closes its Los Angeles refinery this month. 139,000 barrels per day of production will vanish. About 40,000 of those barrels were diesel. Valero's Benicia refinery shuts in January, taking another 35,000 barrels of daily diesel production offline. Marathon's Martinez facility already converted away from diesel to renewable fuels. The state will lose 20% of its diesel production capacity by February. The trucking industry saw this coming. The California Trucking Association warned state officials in March that diesel shortages would cripple goods movement. Their members reported spending an average of 45 minutes per day searching for diesel. That is 4 hours per week per truck just looking for fuel. With 40,000 commercial trucks operating in California, that is 160,000 hours of lost productivity every week. Tom Henderson owns Henderson Logistics, running refrigerated trucks from Salinas to Los Angeles. He says his drivers are downloading 3 different apps just to track which stations have diesel, and they are routing trucks 20 miles out of the way because certain stops will have fuel only on certain days. Henderson's fuel costs increased 60%, but his bigger problem is reliability. 3 of his major grocery clients switched to carriers based in Arizona because they could not guarantee delivery times anymore. The agriculture sector faces the worst impacts. Kern County produces 70% of California's agricultural output. Every almond, pistachio, and grape shipment depends on diesel trucks. During harvest season, farms need 800,000 gallons of diesel per day just for equipment and transportation. The county agricultural commissioner Glenn Feldhauser laid out the reality at a recent board meeting. He said, "We are looking at 20 to 25 days of supply going into our busiest season. 1 refinery fire, 1 pipeline problem, and we cannot get crops to market." The shortage extends beyond trucking. Construction companies report project delays because equipment operators cannot find diesel. Emergency services worry about backup generator fuel. School districts scramble to keep buses running. Trash collection services skip routes when their trucks run dry. California imports diesel from Asia to fill the gap, but that takes 3 weeks by ship. The Jones Act prevents using American ships from Texas or Louisiana unless they are US flagged vessels. Only 5 exist. China has 1,794. So California pays premium prices for foreign tankers, while Texas diesel sits $90 per barrel cheaper just 2 states away. The American Transportation Research Institute tracked the migration of trucking companies out of California. 840 companies moved operations to Nevada, Arizona, or Texas in the past 18 months. They took 12,000 trucks with them. Those trucks still deliver to California, but they fuel up outside the state. That further reduces demand at California truck stops, making it unprofitable to maintain inventory. Michael Chen operated 3 truck stops along Interstate 5 for 20 years. He closed 2 locations in October. He said he could not afford to keep $500,000 of diesel inventory when he was only selling 40,000 gallons per week. The banks will not extend credit for fuel purchases anymore. They see the risk. Chen's remaining location limits diesel purchases to 100 gallons per customer. Retail impact starts showing up in January. Target, Walmart, and Costco distribution centers typically maintain 3 days of safety stock. When diesel shortages delay shipments, shelves go empty. A November study by the Retail Industry Leaders Association found that 38% of California retailers experience stockouts due to transportation delays. That number doubles during diesel shortages. Food distribution takes the hardest hit. Refrigerated trucks burn 20% more diesel than standard trailers. They cannot shut down engines at rest stops because the cooling units need constant power. A load of strawberries from Watsonville to Chicago requires 400 gallons of diesel. If the driver cannot find fuel in Bakersfield, $30,000 of produce spoils. The Diesel Technology Forum analyzed California's unique vulnerability. Unlike gasoline, which has some flexibility in formulation, diesel specifications are rigid. The ultra-low sulfur diesel required in California cannot be quickly produced elsewhere. Refineries need specific equipment and processes. When California refineries close, that specialized production does not transfer to other states. Port operations add another layer of complexity. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach handle 40% of America's containerized imports. Every container is moved by a diesel truck. The ports consume 2 million gallons of diesel per week just for cargo handling equipment. When diesel runs short, containers stack up. Ships wait offshore. The supply chain backs up from Shanghai to Shreveport. Some companies attempt creative solutions. Amazon tests electric delivery trucks in downtown areas, but still depends on diesel for long-haul transportation. UPS experiments with renewable diesel at twice the cost. FedEx adds fuel surcharges that make California deliveries 30% more expensive than Nevada. None of these patches fix the fundamental problem of inadequate supply. The California Air Resources Board acknowledged the shortage risk in their December meeting, but offered no immediate solutions. They point to future electric truck mandates and hydrogen fuel cell development. Those technologies remain years away from scale deployment. Meanwhile, the diesel shortage is happening now. Weather adds urgency to the crisis. A cold winter increases heating oil demand, and heating oil comes from the same distillate pool as diesel. California does not use much heating oil, but the Pacific Northwest does. They draw from the same West Coast inventory. An Arctic blast hitting Portland means less diesel available in Bakersfield. Industry experts paint a stark picture for 2026. With 2 major refineries closing and no new production coming online, California diesel supply drops by 35%. Imports might cover half that gap if shipping rates stay reasonable. The other half simply does not exist. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve cannot help. It stores crude oil, not refined diesel. Even if reserve oil were released, California lacks refinery capacity to process it. The state needs finished diesel ready to pump, not raw crude that requires weeks of processing. As December ends, California enters 2026 with the lowest diesel reserves in history, 2 fewer refineries, and 800 more trucking companies planning exits. The 25 days of supply assumes everything continues working perfectly. In the energy business, perfect never happens. When that number drops to 15 days, then 10 days, then 5 days, California discovers what happens when the trucks stop rolling.
Alright guys, go follow. Ooh, no diesel.